Yo, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line. Welcome my first Blox Fruit Guide video with many more to come. Today, we're diving into the heart-pounding world of player versus player combat. I'm Hab and I welcome you to my channel. And I've teamed up with a few seasoned PvP experts to bring you the ultimate guide to dominating battles in Blox Fruit. I'll give them a little shout out here on screen, and without further ado, let's get started. Understanding PvP basics. Before we get into the advanced strategies, let's cover the basics. In Blox Fruit, PvP stands for player versus player, where you face off against other players in epic battles. Remember, timing, strategy, and knowledge of your abilities are key. Before I move on, I want you guys to understand one thing: Blox Fruit PvP is completely fucked and you could just use PvP and Dragon Leo or Venom to defeat a 30 melee. Don't use those types of build, but if you guys wish it, will cover them in another video. This video is solely based on skill. Alright, so at the beginning of your training arc, you should start by familiarize yourself with your character's abilities, both melee and ranged attacks. Understanding block, dodge, and counter mechanics will give you an edge. Mechanics such as can-tricking. Can-tricking is when you're in the middle of a combo, but you turn on observation and you dodge, taking no damage from the combo. An example of this is Superhuman Z Death Step C. You can get hit by either one, but while you're being punched you can turn on observation and you dodge the punches. Building your PvP loadout. Now that we have the basics down, let's talk about building a formidable PvP loadout. Your loadout should complement your playstyle. If you prefer close combat, choose a weapon with high damage output and quick attack. Sword like Tushita and Saber fit this role, and fruits like Quake and Shadow as well. Also the gun main Acidum Riffle build. If you're more of a ranged fighter, opt for abilities that allow you to attack from a distance and control the battlefield. So opt for a swords main build more often. Fruits like Light, Sand and Magma. Mastering PvP strategies. First off, practice your movement. Dodging and strafing are essential for avoiding attacks. And what about using hockey? Using observation hockey can help you predict your opponent's moves, and learning can-trick will be essential for you, while armament hockey enhances your attacks and defense. Incorporating hockey into your PvP arsenal can be a game changer. Getting and leveling hockey buffs is highly recommended. For Blox Fruit players, these abilities are helpful for PvE and PvP, as you want every advantage possible. Fighting styles and stats builds. Fighting styles are one of the four main ways to deal damage in the game, with the other three ways being fruits, swords and guns. Fighting styles are essential skills for combat in Blox Fruits. They are the core mechanism of the combat system in the game. There is a total of 11 fighting styles in game. All fighting styles have 3 different skills, except Combat, which has 2, and Death Step and Dark Step, which have 4. Here are all the fighting styles currently in the game. Rumor has it Alaskan Bull with drop next update, but that's just rumors. Stats are a vital mechanic in the game that increases the player's strength, health, energy and dealt damage. A player can only upgrade 3 stats to the maximum level, which is currently 2450. There are 4 different stats build: sword main, fruit main, gun main and hybrid stats. Sword mains deal maximum damage in sword attacks. They hold a tremendous advantage in PvP if they are an experienced player. You can make spontaneous decisions and is agile. Sword mains are much more common in the late game, as they have a disadvantage in PvE and raids, making progression far slower. Gun mains deal maximum damage in gun attacks. They are extremely effective in PvE, and if used correctly, PvP, with good timing, skills, and aim. Guns can be very formidable in PvP. It is very rare to find people that use guns for PvP. Most gun users incorporate a mix of other forms of fighting to compensate with the difficulty of dodging enemies. Guns in raids are not too useful since they do deal hefty damage, but have limited moves and AO isn't too large. Fruit mains deal maximum damage in fruit attacks. They have an advantage in all fields if they use a good fruit, and the ability to use it well. It is recommended to go for fruit main for raids, since they have a much higher number of moves to deal damage with. And the moves are very often AoE, which makes dealing with the large crowds of enemies easier. Here are a few examples. Training and improvement. Lol, got you Lilabo anyways. Alright. Before we wrap up, here's some advice for players who want to continually improve their PvP skills. Practice makes perfect. On your free time, head to private server to practice combos, movement, and advanced technique with like tricking alone on NPCs or with friends. Learn from your losses and adapt your strategies. And, of course, never stop experimenting with new loadouts and approaches. Well, that wraps up our Blox Fruit PvP guide. A huge thank to you guys watching and my friends for sharing their expertise. Remember, adventurers, PvP is about honing your skills, embracing challenges, and most importantly, having fun while playing. Until next time, stay safe and keep dominating those battles. If anybody's asks, Heb thought you better spread the word or else he'll kidnap you and your entire families. Anyways, see you guys next time.
Them niggas better just double, I be loving the trouble, just make it 150. You know I'ma spinning that V, foot on the gas, you know I get drifty. Can't wait till that day that I see Lil Shadon. He capping his rap, it's not what it seemed. Light on my gun, I'm turning it on. You know I can't miss cause I got on the beam. Stop trying to front like you really perform. Every day I'm outside, got the G in my jeans. Be aiming for air, just work on your form. I'm keeping it P, you did bad on that scene.